welcome back to Terrible at Fishing. Well, we're going to talk about a very simple subject today. There are so many choices for reels on the market. There's so many. Did you know, and it's just a simple fact, that Kastking sells 7 out of the top 12 reels on Amazon today? That's right. The majority of the dozen sold on Amazon are dominated by Kastking. Now, why is that? Well, Kastking is not only affordable, but it's quality. As you've seen, it's just they sell really well-made things. So we're going to talk about what makes a reel better, what to shop for. Now, I'm going to start with spinning reels, because spinning reel is the most popular reel on the market, and it's probably one of the easier ones to use besides maybe a spin caster. And which, by the way, the Brutus spin caster by Kastking, for just a child or even a simple casting one, highly recommend. In fact, that's the Brutus right there. And I do have a good video on the Brutus too. Dropping stuff. So, I wanted to go through some of the things about, some of the things that you would find in the descriptions, and do they make a difference? How much of a difference do they make on these things? So, let's look at the first thing, and probably one of the things I first noticed about shopping for reels is bearings. I know, bearings. Also, and they tout it, that they this one, has 10 plus 1 bearings in it, and they brag about it. But notice here in this illustration where the bearings are. Now, some of them are in crucial spots, and all of them usually will have them in these spots. And then there are extra spots that they put them in to help the reel perform better and feel better in your hand. And then the type of bearings that they put in it has a lot to do with its longevity. So let's take a look at this one illustration here. It says 10 plus 1 Maxi Dura shielded stainless steel ball bearings. Woo, that's a lot of stuff in it. Well, let's look at some of the bearings that it has. First of all, the necessity area is where the spool is and where the crank is. So these are very important areas. Typically, those 5 bearings or so are in all reels. So you really want to look for something 5 or more. And what Kastking does is that they put more bearings in it. So if you look over into the handle, per se, in this area here, they put more bearings. Now, it's not necessary, no, but it sure makes it feel better when you're cranking it. So it has a better feel to it. And they put a few more bearings here and there in order to get better performance in your hand. And that's really a big plus to you, because the smoother it feels, the more sensitivity it has to the fish. So the less noise this is making, the more noise the fish is making. So very good. But notice that it talks about these shielded bearings. Now, bearings that aren't shielded, you can see the ball bearings in them visibly. Shielded actually puts a cover over it. Now, why is that important? Well, it keeps the bearings clean, for one thing, and it seals the housing of the bearings, so the bearings perform better longer. Also, it protects it from salt water and salt damage. So typically, a double shielded bearings are saltwater rated spools or reels. So those things are really important for you. Well, so that's bearings. So you want at least 5, you want them double shielded, but I will tell you that Kastking, the reasons they sell the 7 out of the 12 top reels on the market in Amazon is because they have great bearings. Now, the next thing I noticed when I was shopping was this thing called drag. Now, drag is the tension on the spool. This tension in kastking uses carbon fiber discs in it. And the reason that that's important in the type of drag, first the number. Let's go to the number first. Numbers can be important, and it cannot be important. Sometimes it's just a number, just to make it bigger. So if you see something with a 40-pound drag, for one thing, that's not a freshwater reel. That's a saltwater reel. But you want enough drag for the fish to take, but for you to reel in without breaking your line or hurting the spool or the reel. And that's real important to do. So typically anything above 15 pounds is actually a pretty good drag. I mean, to be honest, 15 pounds is plenty of drag for most freshwater fishing. So having a little more, that's nice. Not necessary, but nice. So, this particular Zephyr is 18 pounds. You see the one in the illustration next to me at 22 pounds. That's nice. What really is nice, though, is the triple disc carbon fiber drag. And the carbon fiber lasts longer, and it doesn't slip as you would with stainless steel or other drag systems or plastic. And that's real important, because you want something that'll grab a hold of the fish and not let go of it. And a carbon fiber drag is very, very important for you to have. And having 3 discs in it, even better. So now you noticed, and this is something that you pay a lot for, believe it or not, it's weight, the housing material. So, for instance, this particular reel, this Zephyr, it uses a graphite housing. You can also get it in carbon fiber. So pretty amazing. And that's you pay extra for that, because weight has a lot to do with exhaustion and wrist fatigue and hand fatigue. Weight, as well as the durability of the housing, is important. Sometimes we'll find, for instance, I have a bait caster with an aluminum frame in it, which that's important because it's just tougher than nails. You'll find most reels are graphite. So when you pay extra for some of these other materials like carbon fiber, that's big, because carbon fiber is much lighter. So this is the one I got. This is 7.3 ounces. If you notice, the one that was carbon fiber, the carbon fiber was 6.5 ounces. Well, big difference when you're using it all day long. And that's something you pay extra for. And is it worth it? Yeah, it is. It really is. Depending on how much you fish. Now, it is for me. When I go fishing, I fish for about 13 hours on average a day. I mean, I'm out there first on, last off on the lake. Well, you're doing this for 13 hours. Yeah, that's real important. Now, if you're only out there for a couple hours, probably not that important. Casual. I enjoy fishing. When I go out there, I fish all day. I don't want to come in. I'm like a kid at a pool. Oh, come on, Mom, I don't want to go in. That's kind of the way I am. I don't want to go in. So that's real important. So next would probably be some of the construction material too with it, and the design of it. Now, what makes, not only is the housing important, but the design and the internal quality of parts, like carbon fiber on the Dragon. That's very important for you to use. The double sliding stabilizer bars that are inside this particular reel, that's real important too. It offers rigidity and sturdiness over a longer period of time. So this particular reel will actually last longer than most reels on the market. So even though this reel may be affordable, at a price range, and you're seeing it compete at that price with some pretty cheap stuff, it really is competing with much more expensive reels. It really is. It just is. It just has, it's got brass in it, it's got CNC aluminum, and it's just got, the carbon fiber. You got all these other materials that usually cost a lot more. And Kastking, they get rid of a lot of the middlemen, and that helps them not mark up their stuff for it. So, but when you look at it, see if you can see the inside, see what it's made out of, and that's important for you to sort of take a gander at. And then look at, some of it is the design of the product too. So, this is one of the newer reels. It's called a Zephyr, and it has fastly become one of my favorite reels. It really is fantastic. Some of these things like the cutaways on the spool. Well, you may think it's just decoration, but it isn't. It actually takes away weight. The actual bail and the spinning portion of the reel. This is actually aerodynamic and balanced. So when it spins, it has less friction and it spins longer without you having to use the crank more. All these things have a lot to do with the quality of the reel itself. To be honest, the reel, buying a reel doesn't really have to be too hard, but it can be very confusing. So I'm hoping that this video, understanding the bearings, the drag, things like that, would help you. Now, there is this, notice it shows that the spinning reels come in different sizes, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and it can go up to 6,000, 7,000, so it can really go crazy. These are the size of the reels. So, obviously 1,000 being the smallest, and the higher the number, the larger. Typically, for just an all-around size reel, 3,000. Great, it holds a lot of line, it's a good size, it's not too heavy. It actually works out really, really well for most people. And for a nice all-around, my Emerald Eagle, my Valiant Eagle reel is a 3,000. Now, with this particular system, I wanted to go with an ultralight, so I wanted to go as light as possible. So I went with 1,000. 2,000 is not much different, so maybe my next reel will probably be a 2,000. But it's an amazing. If you're just looking for an all-around reel, go for 3,000. If you want really light, go 1,000 or 2,000. I mean, yeah, they're smaller, but boy, you can just use these things all day long. I mean, fantastic. And there is a big weight difference between 1,000 and 3,000. It's amazing when I'm using my ultralight and I pick up my Emerald Eagle, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so heavy. I never really thought of it as heavy until I compared it to this. So, it makes a big difference on fatigue. It really, really does. So, notice that also underneath in this graphic, lightweight, durable, and the drag power. Those are three characteristics that you're going to find. I want you guys to take a look at the Kastking lineup. And, the Kastking lineup is well worth your look. If you look at the comments, now, when I buy something on the internet, I usually go to Amazon and I look at people's comments. And you'll find that typically these are 4.5 star rated reels. And the reason being that it's 4.5, not 5, is because you're always going to have those. I mean, you can have a 5, you can have a 1. You can have, things like, some people will break it, some people, and sometimes in shipping it gets damaged, which, by the way, these things are shipped really, really well. If it's damaged in shipping, it's not Kastking's fault. Their boxes are just, and these are well packed. And so are their rods, by the way. So, but sometimes nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I will tell you that if you call Kastking, they'll take care of you. They really will. On my Emerald Eagle, I didn't notice, but the retaining screw fell out into the lake. And then I noticed that my handle came off. I just didn't notice that I hadn't tightened it. And so they just sent me another one. Their customer service is really good. And that's another thing. When you buy something that you want to last forever, you want a company that stands behind it really well. And I can tell you that I know Kastking personnel personally, and not only are they good people, but they're a good company. And they stand by their product. They're proud of it. They really are. So when they find out somebody's not happy with it, well, they get upset, and they want to take care of you. So what else would you expect from a company? So check it out. Really just check out the brand. And I hope that when shopping for a spinning reel, or even, some of these things carry right over to the bait casting, and I'll do another one of these on the bait casters, this will help you. There are so many choices out there. If you have a question, please post it below. Please subscribe, hit like, and please post your question below with specifics on what you're going to use it for. And, if you're going to trout fish, freshwater, river, lake, things like that. And I can give you a suggestion. So please take advantage of my decades of experience and some of my knowledge. So thank you very much. And you guys know where you'll find me out on the water. If you have kids and you see me, just say hi. I always got a gift for the kids. Take care, everybody.